$1,330 and $1,803 on a monthly basis for those people receiving SSI from the Social Security Administration through the Supplemental Security Income Program. Are you receiving that much on a monthly basis? Drop your comments down below. I think the answer is going to be no across the board for virtually every single beneficiary, because that's just how the program is set up, is that you're actually not getting those benefit amounts no matter how much you're actually getting. However, that's the problem, and why we need to talk about this in a huge way and pound the table on this and make a major deal about this, because that's the problem with the SSI program. Great program, great beneficiaries, helping out people in a big way, but it's also failing the beneficiaries, as I've said a ton of times over the last several years. And over the last several months here, I've talked about this many times, where the SSI program continues to fail the beneficiaries in a massive way, especially with the major updates that we received at the beginning of 2026, which I also have right here, which I'm going to pop up in just a second. Just a little quick chart I'm going to put up on the screen in just a minute. I want you to see this because this is also going to help solidify everything we're talking about here and what we really need to focus on when it comes down to the SSI program. Again, great program, failing the beneficiaries in a huge, huge, huge way. Now again, drop your comment down below. Are you getting a benefit anywhere near $1,330 as an individual or $1,803 on a monthly basis as a married couple? Drop your comment down below. I think the answer is going to be no across the board. Anyway, let's pop this up right here, right now. It's just a screenshot off of the HHS website, Health and Human Services website. Feel free to read through this. But basically what this is, it's a graph showing the new federal poverty line for 2026. Now, a couple numbers that I want to focus on are the top two numbers, a household of one and a household of two. Household of one is $15,960 right now in 2026, and a household of two is $21,640 right now in 2026. Okay, now let's look at these numbers a little bit more closely here. That is the income that is needed to be at the federal poverty line in 2026. Any income below that on an annualized basis based on household size is literally below the federal poverty line, living in poverty, right? Well, therefore, for all the people that have written a no in the comments section, this program is literally forcing people to live in poverty. Again, it's a great program. It's probably meaning well for the people, but it's failing the beneficiaries because it's literally forcing people to live in poverty. I don't know why that's acceptable, but apparently it is. And there's 40 million people in this country living in poverty right now, which is weird, right? I mean, that's nuts. Anyway, let's look at these numbers a little more closely here and what I want to point out for you, okay? Now, again, we think about it this way. There's legislation out there, most notably in the SSI Restoration Act. Great piece of legislation. In that piece of legislation, the most key provision within it is to raise benefits for SSI beneficiaries up to the federal poverty line, which I know you've heard me talk about here over the last, couple months or so, as I've talked about the SSI Restoration Act. But here's what we need to do. Let's take the $15,960, which is the federal poverty line for a household of one, divide that by 12 months. It comes out to $1,330 on a monthly basis. That's where income needs to be at the federal poverty line in 2026. Okay, remember that number, $1,330 on a monthly basis for a household of one person, an individual. A household of two, again, $21,640. Dividing that out by 12 months comes out to be $1,803 on a monthly basis of income to be at or above the federal poverty line. Does that make sense? Okay, now let's compare these numbers to the current maximum dollar amounts an individual can get on SSI or a married couple can get right now on SSI, and let's compare the differences. Okay, somebody that is an individual maxing out their SSI benefit can get upwards of $994, not a penny more. $994 is the max right now in 2026. But yet the federal poverty line is at $1,330 a month. A difference of $336 a month is the difference between maximum benefits for SSI and the federal poverty line. It's a lot of money, right? $336 a month. Now, let's look at a married couple right now. Maximum you can get as a married couple on SSI is $1,491 a month right now in 2026, okay? Now, the federal poverty line for a household of two is $1,803 per month is the federal poverty line, which is a difference of 309 plus 12. Sorry, I'm running the math in my head as I talk right now. $312 a month, okay? It's a difference of $312 a month for a married couple just to be at the federal poverty line for a household of two, okay? Now, why do we want to make a big deal about this? Because, like I said, most notably, the SSI Restoration Act, great piece of legislation to reform SSI in a massive way. This is the key provision within that, raising benefits to the federal poverty line. What this would simply mean is that if the SSI Restoration Act were to be passed, or even just a standalone bill to raise SSI benefits up to the federal poverty line, this is what we would be looking at. We'd be looking at a minimum increase for individuals of at least $336 a month, raising those benefits up to a minimum of the federal poverty line, and then keeping parity with the federal poverty line, equal to the federal poverty line, every single year of at least $1,330 right now in 2026. Again, a discrepancy of $336 a month is how much that is actually the difference of. It's a lot of money to a lot of people, especially on SSI, living on a sub $1,000 monthly benefit right now, right? Same goes for the married couple. A married couple receiving the maximum of $1,491, and if they raise the benefit up to the federal poverty line, that would lock in a $312 per month raise to these benefits. It's a lot. That's over, what is that, $3,600 something dollars? No, it's $3,700 and some dollars a month, or no, sorry, for the entire year for a married couple. It's a lot of extra money that those individuals really, really need right now. So the reason that I want to make such a big deal about this is because, is it acceptable for 7.5 million people that are on SSI, again, between individuals and married couples, to be collectively forced into living in poverty when there's 40 million people in this country living in poverty? Simply because of a program that is broken and they're literally trapped within it? Because here's the deal. You know this as well as I do. If you're living on SSI, if you have any income, you can have a little bit of income. It's not much at all. If you have any income, does that scare you a little bit? I think most people are going to leave a comment down below saying, yes, any income on SSI scares me because if I earn any income or if I get any help of any kind, it's going to basically sacrifice my monthly benefit. You may get kicked off the program because you have a little bit of income, okay? Obviously, you can have a little bit, but my point is, you know, and again, I've seen this down below time and time again. I've talked to people personally. We've had this conversation many times. People that are living on SSI are scared to do anything to try to better their lifestyle, better their finances, earn a little bit of money, doing whatever, simply because you know that if you have a little bit of income, your benefits are now potentially in jeopardy of completely being garnished because you earned a little bit of money. It's a nasty situation, right? So it literally traps the beneficiaries in this loop of, I want to better my lifestyle. I'm sick of struggling, but yet I can't do anything because if I do, they're going to cut my benefit massively and I'm going to see a huge garnishment, which then what's the point of doing anything? What's the point of trying to make any money or earn any money or do something when they just have this idea of, I'm going to get kicked off, right? But here's the deal. If this program would actually be doing what it's supposed to be doing, as it was set up 50 some odd years ago back in the early 70s, which is keeping parity with the federal poverty line as an anti-poverty program, we wouldn't need to have this conversation. We'd be above the federal poverty line every single year. The problem is it's fallen behind so much over the last 50 some years, going back to the 70s, that we're so far behind, as you mentioned, or as you noticed. We're behind the federal poverty line, again, for these two respective groups here, individuals and married couples, by $336 a month and $312 a month per month. That's between about $4,000 and $3,700-ish a month, for the entire year is how much that comes down to. It's a lot of extra money for a lot of people, and this would instantly lift about 7.5 million people out of poverty if they were to just do this one simple provision within the SSI Restoration Act. Does that kind of make sense, right? So the point that I want to make, and that why I want to make such a big deal about this, is that program is good. Don't get me wrong, it's good. Great program, helps out a lot of people. But it continues to fail the beneficiaries because it's not keeping up to the commitments and the promises that this program made over 50 years ago, back in the 70s when they started it, which is an anti-poverty program. It's no longer an anti-poverty program. It's literally a guaranteed poverty program now. If you're on SSI, you're basically guaranteed to be below the federal poverty line until they do something about it. And that's what I want to talk about, and why I want to make a big deal about this is because I think it's easy for lawmakers to look at this and be like, yeah, great program, helping out a lot of people. Yep, next, let's talk about the next topic now, right? Unless we talk about this, unless we bring this up and make a big deal about this, it's easy to just forget about it and be like, no, nothing to see here. Let's just go on to the next issue, right? That's why we need to make a big deal about this, because it's not really how the program was set up. It was set up as an anti-poverty program. No, it's way below the federal poverty line, as we just discussed right here, that I clearly laid out for you in this video. Kind of makes sense? Anyway, I just want you to know, as an SSI beneficiary, you're supposed to be getting hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of dollars more per month. But unfortunately, you're not, because they continue to basically stiff the beneficiaries by not updating this program. Nasty. It's a nasty situation. And again, I know a lot of you in this community that watch these videos receive SSI benefits. Doing what I can to advocate and represent you in these videos by pointing this information out that no lawmaker would ever mention. No lawmaker would ever spring this up, right? They would never say this, because then it puts them into a corner where they're like, oh, I guess we got to do something now, right? Oh, let's not do that. Let's not talk about it because we don't want to do anything. How much would this really cost? Not much. 20, 25, maybe $30 billion a year more to send out the right amount of benefits to beneficiaries. That's all it would really be. Not that much, right? Anyway, just want to point this out for you really quickly so you can see where your benefits are supposed to be at and the attention that is needed for this very, very, very important program. Anyway, drop your comments down below. I'd love to hear what you have to think about all of this. Otherwise, make sure to subscribe if you have not done so yet. Big subscribe button down below the video. Thank you. Appreciate that. Otherwise, leave your comments, questions, feedback down below. Like the video, like button down below, and share this video. Share this video, big share button right down below as well, right by the like and subscribe buttons. Otherwise, enjoy your day. I look forward to reading your comments. Until next time, have a nice day. Take care, and I look forward to seeing you again soon in the very next